Well, hello and happy Saturday, Sonder family. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I get to be your facilitator as we set up for the first week of September. Many of you have already been with the former Team Texas this morning. My co-facilitator on our call this evening is the fabulous Katie Gideon. Many of you know she was in the Houston area for a while, and we were the two facilitators from Texas, so we dubbed ourselves Team Texas, and we refused to let that go. She is now in the lovely Scotland, so she is definitely across the pond, but she is also in your chat. And if you need any help along the way this evening, feel free to drop your question, your inquiry in there, and she will do her best to point you in the right direction. So, again, you may be, here you are getting Team Texas for the second time today. If you were here for the monthly setup that was done this morning. It is Labor Day, as you know, here in the States, our long Labor Day weekend, kind of that kickoff to our fall, the unofficial start of fall, the new season. I'm really going to be embracing that as we look at this first week of September together. And I'm just excited to be here. We've got a new journal, we've got a new theme. I am seeing lots of returning folks tonight. I would love to say, glad you're back. It's always good to see you. And then who here might be visiting us for the very first time? You've got this brand new journal and you're checking it out. What is this community, this social? Idea, drop that in the chat if you're here for the first one. Okay, I see we've got a couple of newbies. We love this idea. Irina's here, Jackie's here. This community, you will not find a better community to hang out with. We hold each other accountable. We have these dates to set up our journal. We can come as we are. We can bring our happy things. We can come when we're down in the dumps and just sit with our people. Valerie's here. Oh, we've got lots of new friends joining our Sonder family. So I'm so glad that you're here. This to me is the way that I keep my journal, kind of new and fresh and just sharing the journey of life with one another. So we're so glad that you are here. I love this little graphic. What I want for September: simplicity, September, smile September, self-love September, sympathy September, serenity September, start fresh September. So whatever you're wanting to embrace for September, we're here, we got it, let's get going. When we gather together, we always remind you that these are our community guidelines because it's very important that we are always in a safe place with one another. Um, that we don't have hate speech or bullying, no promotions or spam. If you have some product and accessory questions, I'll tell you right now, the best place for that is in our Sonder Club app because it'll hit a lot of people versus just the folks who are gathered here, and they can tell you, the best washi tape, stickers, markers, colored pencils. If you ever need customer care and help, hello at silkandsonder.com is going to be the email address you want to use. And then also these times together are a part of our journey. It's a tool when we are together, supporting one another. But the main thing to remember is always take care of yourself. Like if you are not in a headspace to look at something, it's okay to sit back, take a screenshot, get back to it later. Those of you who are here for the first time, that's one of the things we recommend is to maybe as you're learning how to set up this journal, take some screenshots, take some pictures with your phone, create a little folder of ideas you might want to try. because I'm going to share a lot of ways that you can use your journal just as it is, but also some ideas to repurpose it so it fits what you need in your life. And yes, Katie's saying nobody's grading this. Nobody's coming to get it. We're breaking up with perfection. We're learning more about ourselves through this journal, through the themes, all that good stuff. Pardon me. So, our agenda tonight, we're going to work on our knowledge mind map. The mind map is a bonus prompt you get for coming to these weekly setups. We'll talk about that a little bit deeper in a second. We're going to do our rosebud thorn reflection, which is a staple of our times together, and it is that look back over the previous week. And we do that because science tells us when we take time to find gratitude for the life that we have, we get really good things happening in our brain. And it's real easy to ruminate on the thorns, and we are trying to be intentional with pulling out those roses and those buds. So that is a staple. You'll see us do it every week. And then we're going to do our weekly setup. So, as you know, this month's theme is knowledge, and this is the definition that is on that definition page. Facts, information, and skills acquired by a person through experience or education, the theoretical or practical understanding of a subject. And I had the privilege of working with Bailey this week as we worked on some monthly setups. And Bailey took this definition and pointed out one word that really jumped out to me. And that word is and. Facts, information, and skills. And she said it's not or skills. And so knowledge is kind of this, it's when all of these things come together. I thought that was kind of a neat way to start thinking about what knowledge looks like in our life. We worked on our acrostic poem. We're starting to dig into that idea of knowledge. You're going to see a lot of quotes throughout the month. So we are going to start our mind map by looking at different types, different kinds of knowledge in our life. You will want to make space for 4 spaces this month on that mind map. We'll have a question each week or a prompt each week at this weekly setup. Again, this is a bonus. You're not going to find it printed in your journal. And lots of folks put this in different areas of your journal. You might want to just do it on a blank notes page. Maybe you use that weekly scratch pad for each individual week. And the reflection that you do, you might just use sticky notes. Some folks will use that definition page and they'll divide that into 4 spaces. Pages 28 and 29 in your September journal. If you finished out the month of August in your August journal, these are bonus pages for you. They've got the rest of August in them. So you might want to go to that page. Your quote page, page 38, and I'm actually doing it on the notes portion of page 57. There's how I set my little mind map up for this week. And I got a light bulb sticker from my Silk and Sonder sticker pack. So I popped that up there. So I'm just using that page 57. You use the page that is easiest for you. And our first type of knowledge we're looking at this week is declarative knowledge. And so, what we are asked to do is reflect on a fact or piece of information you recently learned and ask yourself, why did that stand out to you? And how does the new knowledge influence your understanding of the world? Think about how this fact connects to what you already know or challenges your previous assumptions. And so declarative knowledge is just that knowledge of facts, information, things that can be explicitly stated or described, like knowing the earth revolves around the sun or remembering a phone number. It's like just the facts. It's knowing what. So again, we're going to be looking at different kinds of knowledge. Week 1 is declarative. And I actually Just finished. If you were at the monthly setup with me, I talked about this book. So you might want to think maybe about a recent book you read, maybe a documentary you saw. I read this book called Think Again by Adam Grant, and it is all about taking life through the lens of kind of that scientific thinking. I discovered I should regularly question my own beliefs and the assumptions that I have in life. I should be humble and show a lot of humility to how I take in information and be willing and open to change my mind. Embrace uncertainty. Don't cling to beliefs just because that's how you've always done it. Like, why? Ask yourself why, many times. Approach life with that scientific mindset, curiosity, be open to learning. There is a joy of being wrong because it creates opportunity in your life. And so it was just a very convicting book to me. I told Katie right now in this election season, I feel like we should all read that book before we go to the polls. It just really kind of helped. It gave a lot of ways of talking to people, of, how to deal with confrontations. It was just really good. And so that is kind of my recently learned or driven in, this new idea, maybe an idea that was already there, but it really honed in and spoke to me in a passionate way. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to give you a good amount of time to work on this because I know you want to set up your mind map and then respond to the question. So let us know what starts coming up with, in your mind, and I'll be back to check in with you in just a few moments. Okay, remember that you don't have to finish, these prompts. Sometimes you gotta let it ruminate, bounce around. I always say marinate in your mind, and it may come to you on Thursday, like, yes, this is how I'm gonna frame out the response to this journal prompt. So again, we're just going to be looking at different types of knowledge through the month. So we've got 3 more weeks ahead. Always feel free to grab a screenshot of the question, and you can work on that, as it comes to you. So now we're going to do that staple I was talking about, that rosebud thorn reflection, so that we can take a moment to embrace the gratitude for the week that we just had. If you are finishing out your August and you want to do this in your August journal, because this is the last week of August, that's going to be on page 56. Or we have space in the September journal to go ahead and do it, and that's going to be on page 30. So you can do your rosebud thorn reflection on either or both. You can just transfer it over. So those roses are the things that have just brought us joy. We are so grateful for um very positive things that are going on, things that you are celebrating in your life. And the buds are kind of like those, except they're things that maybe you're looking forward to or that are coming down the pipe for you. What is kind of giving you that motivation, or that, I keep saying, talking about the burr months, the burr months, the burr months, because it's been so hot and oppressive here. And I am just, looking forward to the fall coming. My daughter's getting married in November. And so I'm just like, my butt is going to be that for, 2 months. And then the thorn is, something that's stressful or challenging, where you could use some more support, right? Like, and sometimes thorns are temporary and sometimes they are there all the time, but we're going to just put them on the paper and maybe think about what we can learn from them. What is our takeaway? Where can we find the gratitude for even the thorns of life? Yesterday I woke up not feeling so great. I was supposed to be babysitting my little grandson overnight, the baby, and I was like, I'm not feeling good, and COVID's on the rise. And I went and took a test, and I tested positive, and it's the first time I've had COVID. I have escaped that nasty thing for 4.5 years. So I was able to get my meds. I'm on dose 3. Tylenol's keeping me moving. I'm doing okay. And so that is definitely my thorn. But my silver lining is that now I've gotten it over with. I won't have to worry about getting COVID right before my daughter's wedding, right? So, but modern medicine, right? I'm doing great. And then the Rose is my very best friend. We raised our children together, and her baby girl was born 3 days after my baby girl, and they grew up together. Anyway, that girl just had a baby and made my best friend a grandma. And so that's a Rose, because I love her and I just love what that's going to mean for her life. So let's put on a little bit of music. Y'all share. Let us hold your thorns as a group so that you know you're not alone, and let us celebrate your roses. And I'll be back to check in on you in just a few minutes. I love that we can just come as we are and share what's on our heart with no judgment, just a lot of support for those good things and those not so great things. Yes, definitely happy birthday to anybody who's having a birthday this week. And we have those things that don't go away. And there's a lot of health stuff that's out there, things that are just there. You're not, that you're dealing with. So thanks for just being part of this community and embracing one another. And it's just that reminder that even though we're virtual, there is something very special about Sonder people, right? About our Sonder family. So let's dig into this brand spanking new week in our September journal. We're going to start on page 32. And of course, we're leaning into our theme of knowledge. And there really is something about, I know summer's not over. I know it's not the first day of fall for quite a while, but there is something about turning that month to September and truly the Burr months, that last kind of 4 months of the year. There's this transition we know is coming. I was telling Katie, I feel like spring and summer just kind of meld into one another, but then we hit the fall and it's like this true transition. And I loved this quote from Virginia Woolf that I discovered. All the months are crude experiments out of which the perfect September is made. I thought that was so beautiful. And it matches up to an email that you should have received yesterday from Meha. And she asked us to kind of think about what this end of the year is going to look like. So I thought it was worth spending a little bit of time as we set up this first week of kind of this new season. She said, visualize where you want to be by the end of the year. What steps can you start taking now to get closer to that vision? Maybe that's how we start framing out our goals and our to dos. What's one goal that you had for this summer that you didn't achieve, that you could push to this fall and it's going to happen? And ask yourself, why do you want to achieve that goal? That could be one of your major goals of the week. What new routine or habit would you like to establish this fall? Now, notice she didn't say habits, just one. Keep doing the things that are serving you, but pick one thing to work on and ask yourself, why is that important to you? It was a really great little email. So I love the idea of kind of having this mindset as we dig into our brand new month. And the first thing we want to do is kind of ask ourselves, how do we want to feel? You might want to take a quick glimpse at this graphic from our Instagram page. If you don't follow, or our Instagram account, follow Silk and Sonder if you're not already doing it. I always shout that out. But maybe there's 3 words that jump out at you right away that you could use for how you want to feel this week, and I'll go back through these. And then just remember there's no right or wrong way to fill this out. It can be one word, it can be a sticker, a mantra, an affirmation. Perhaps you're using your word of the year. Perhaps you're using the same word. You're going to pick a September word and use that for the entire month. Maybe you'll use our theme. Perhaps there's something that you see right here, something jumps out at you like, yeah, that's the word I want for this week. So I would like to ask you just to drop that feeling you're wanting to encompass for this week as you kind of think about what the week is going to bring you and how you want to welcome it and set yourself up. Brenda P said that for this week it's powerful. Powerful is the word she's going to go with. Kimberly K found knowledge, grace, and power. That popped out for her. Settled. Yes, Brenda's moved and she's creating a new home with new possibilities. And so she wants to feel settled. I'm seeing prepared. Jennifer says prepared. I know it's back to school time for many of you with your young ones or yourself. I'm Sterling says productive. Alexandria wants to feel engaged, positive, refreshed, improving. I love that. Cleansed, motivated, peaceful. These are all great, powerful ways to kind of frame out that week and claim what you want this week to bring you. So now we're going to take that feeling and think about those major goals we have with that mindset of how do we want to finish out this year? These next 4 months, they'll go fast. We know that. So think about how those goals can support the way you want to feel. Now, you've got a space that says three major goals. It can be one major goal. You take what you need. I was saying, I was in the chat for Katie's monthly setup today. And it's like, we don't have to fill out all the blanks. If your week or your month looks extra full, focus on the top three things for you, right? Like your intentions. Maybe you just need to focus on the three. Maybe you just need one major goal. I'm going to encourage you to go take a look at your stop, start, and continue box that's on page 8, because though that little area can really help you set up your goals for the week, for the month that we want to, your goals don't have to change every week. They can be broad. Definitely looking at that idea of knowledge and maybe digging into each week's mind map. um, Always like the idea of what do you need to take away? So make some goals, some no goals, things that are not serving you. Look at that graphic. I thought this was great. To attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, remove things every day. So maybe there's some things you need to get rid of. Again, what's in that stop box? Personal challenges are a great way to kind of frame this out. And then many of you I know just make these three categories, and there are some examples there. And then you plug in those goals. So let's take a look at what that could look like. Lots of examples from you all. So thank you for taking time to post in Sonder Club, because we are able to grab those and share and show you different ways of setting these areas up. Again, take what you need. You may want to have a little checklist as this person on the right did, so that you're checking in on a daily basis with those major goals that you have. Again, different categories. This person in the middle has 4 goals. They've got reading, writing, moving, and working. So again, it's about taking what you need. And then let's take a look at that to-do list, which could be generated directly from those goals, those steps that you need to take to achieve those goals. I love this graphic. I used it a long, long time ago, and I decided to bring it back today because there is a method to making a to-do list that serves you. And that is, limit your list to concrete things that you can get done. Assign a priority. I'm going to show you a tip for doing that to each one of those things. Plan time in your schedule, like go and schedule time to work on that. Don't just leave it in the to-do list. Group your tasks. We talk about categorizing. So maybe there's your to-do list for work and your to-do list for home and your personal to-do list. List only as many items as can be realistically accomplished. So set yourself up for success. And then cross off or delete when you complete. There's a lot of satisfaction in that. And then you start again. But ultimately, be sure that you're taking care of yourself. So you might want to use the Eisenhower matrix. If you're new here, take a picture of this screen. This is a great tool to take that big O to-do list and kind of plug them in so that you can prioritize the main thing, get the main things done. And it might help you realize some of these things can be delayed. They're not tied to time constraints. They could possibly be deleted. Maybe it's not as important as you think it is. So this is a very good tool if you have a long list. And I know lots of you make a to-do list for maybe work and a to-do list for your personal life. Again, here's the idea of dividing it up. So a need, a want, a hope to do. That's a great way to tackle that to-do list. And there's some more examples of those to-do lists. Now, I also have shared this before in the past. First, I'm going to do a call out to my Scotch Create repositional glue stick. This is how you can make your very own post-it notes. And so I create a big old to-do list that just has all this stuff I need to get done on it. They don't have time constraints. Stuff like you can see the AC filter, wash my makeup brushes, clean out the inside of the car. And I take this from journal to journal to journal. And sometimes I take things off of this list and put it in my weekly to-dos. But it's kind of the big O list. It's got all those things. And this has been something that has been helpful for me. And again, I just put some of this great glue on there and it transfers easily from journal to journal. And then you can repurpose your list with maybe a to-do list. Now, my to-dos actually go on my Monday through Friday list, and I leave my to-do list blank and celebrate the extras I do, and I put that as ta-da. But maybe you're working on to don't. Like, I love this little graphic that says, I am unable to take that on at the moment. What do you need to not do to serve your life better? Maybe it's a to be list, or maybe it's a dread list of a lot. Maybe you go back and look at August, you're going, okay, I didn't get this stuff done. I'm going to do it. It's a dread list. We'll leave it as it is. So let me put on some music. We're going to work on our to-dos and our goals and share in the chat what is coming up for you, how you're going to set these things up. Do you use little categories? Do you have different lists for different areas of your life? Because what you're doing will inspire others. And I'll be back to check in with you in just a few. It's always so good when some of these songs hit just right, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll play a little Alanis, You Oughta Know." Really embrace the idea of our knowledge theme this month. I'm glad that spoke to a couple of you. I think it's kind of fun. Let's jump down now to our habits, our habits and activities for the week. And as you know, you've got your big habit tracker in the front of your journal, but this is the one that can be set up to meet what you have going on this week. Now, you're welcome to put any of those habits and activities in your monthly tracker in this space. That monthly tracker are for the things that you want to do most days of the month, but this one can be, designed to fit that week, or maybe you've got a couple of things like you want to eat at home 4 times. And so you're going to kind of circle like 4 days on this tracker. Like you can see that one down at the bottom, it's got days circled. And so, you set that goal for the week. Again, look at, what your intentions were for the month. Are there places that those monthly things can be brought into this area? You Lots of rules about this, and here they are. There's really no rules. You do not have to fill in every single space here. Maybe you're going to track 2 things this week. Don't overdo it. Remember that to-do list, like only put the things on there that are going to set yourself up for success. You can see a couple of examples. The one in the middle left, they're tracking 3 things. They're gonna move their body, they're gonna do their daily affirmation, and they're gonna do a ritual, and that's what they're tracking. The one in the middle, in the upper middle, they're not gonna track Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe you give yourself those days off. Maybe this tracker, you really, you use your habit wheel at the front of it for all your personal stuff, and perhaps this tracker becomes your work tracker. And so you're only going to track things Monday through Friday. Or you could make copies of these trackers and have them available for personal life and work life. You can gamify this. Look at the one at the bottom middle. They're going to do something 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That kind of countdown makes it sort of fun. But you also don't have to even have a goal set. You can use this as a straight tracker. So again, no right or wrong way to do it. You take what you need. Here are some ideas for plugging in those habits. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're starting habits, if you've been working on some habits, they should not change from week to week because it does take the wiring in our brains a while. It can be up to like 90 days for it to really become a habit where you don't have to think about it anymore. So you should be seeing some of these things from week to week the same, because you're really trying to create those pathways in your brain to where it just becomes a mindless thing that you just do. So you're going to want to have some of the same things on these trackers from week to week. Plus, if you're starting something new, pair that new thing with something you're already doing, and you'll have more success in creating that. And I've got some inspiration for if you're, I don't know what to put here. Here's a lot of ideas. So let's work on this for a minute, and I'll come back in and we're going to jump over to our next page. Okay, let's take a few moments to visit our next page. Katie always likes to refer to this page as the B side of our record album, our vinyl album. We're jumping over to the B side. And Ida, you were asking about our the YouTube channel. Katie is dropping that. She'll drop all of these links in at the end as well. And probably given that it is Labor Day weekend, these may not, those monthly, the monthly and the weekend setups may not show up until Tuesday. But you could also just go grab an old one, uh, guidance to fill that out. So we're skipping over to the B side, and that's on page 33. We're going to start with our meal plan, and everything I share here could be repurposed into any of these areas. You're invited to use the pages just as they are, or you can repurpose any of these areas to fit in your life. You may do your meal plan over in the shopping list and just do like your major meal of the day. Here are some great examples of repurposing that meal plan space. We always love those big, juicy rectangular spaces for writing reflections, that kind of thing. You might put your schedule there. Pardon me. Chore lists, wardrobe trackers, your appointments for the week. Maybe leaning into self-care and looking at those 7 kinds of rest, maybe figuring out one area that you need to really focus on. Love the idea of using that meal tracker, but then maybe thinking about how you're feeling, if you're trying to be very intentional with your nutrition. So honing into that, a self-care plan for the week, weekly reflections. I'll go back through these while we work on them. And then a reminder, September is Self-Care Awareness Month. And so I really this month plan to focus on our mind body health plan. And I love these 2 quotes. My mental health really changed when I stopped asking myself, why am I so lazy? And reframe that with started asking, why does my body need so much rest now? Read that again. I got this, from Twitter or somewhere, but it's powerful because we tend to look at things about ourselves in a negative way. We need to reframe that and give ourselves what we need. And because once in a while you have to take a break and visit yourself. Oh, beautiful for self-care. So if you haven't already gotten your phone or whatever, I love these 2 slides. And these could be something that you pop into your mind body health space, and kind of do one thing a day. You could create a bingo. You could write these out into your one thing box on that weekly spread. But you could really, really embrace the idea of self care this month through these 2 graphics. They've got some great ideas for taking time for yourself. Let me go back through some other ways folks have set this up, and I'll scroll back through these. You can see how folks have used this space. And then we've also got that shopping list, and you could create again a little mini bingo that's got these self-care ideas for the week. And I always throw in that social check-in. I love that. And then I want you to take, because it is Self-Care Awareness Month, I want you to take that I am loving box and change it up to I am loving blank about myself. And I'm going to kind of carry this through. I think I have a setup every week this month. And so you're going to see this if you come to my setups. I want you to think about what you are loving about yourself. There's no better way to care about yourself than to acknowledge that. I'll be back and I'll check in with you. We'll finish things up after we go through this page. I hope that you embrace September with gusto and you have this idea of knowledge growing as we kick off this new week. I'm so glad that you joined Katie and myself as we dig in to a new month. Please share your setup or even a portion of your setup in Sonder Club, which you put in there. We love to grab and use in our sample slides. There are those QR codes that we always like to share with you so that you can refer a friend or upgrade to an annual subscription. Katie's going to drop all of these links in the chat if you need to grab any of them. That YouTube link where you can see previously recorded socials, over 800 now. Be sure to bookmark that so you can go to that at any time. And then, you'll have the survey code. You'll also receive a follow-up email. Here is that playlist. I'll drop the link in the chat. And then, yes, I saw a request to go back to a slide. So let me put on our going away music and I will go back to that slide. I wish you a great month and I'll see you very soon.